What the fuck is this?
It's October again, and as we all know, it's primetime season for strangers to stick drugs in your kid's candy bag because that is a true and real thing that actually happens. Oh, what's that you say? It's never happened, and the only cases were of kids getting into their parents' drug stash and the parents lied to cover up their negligence? Oh yeah? Well, explain this! I found this in my fun-sized Snickers!
Why are your hands sticky?
Shut up, Spoon! You know what? It seems like some of you need a refresher course on Halloween safety before you go gallivanting about in the streets. And what better way than a PSA from the 1970s called Halloween Safety? Look, I know they're all named the same. It's not like they're gonna be called something catchy like Blood on the Pavement. We open with music that's kind of creepy for a PSA about safety. I guess scaring kids early is what really drills in the lesson?
There's one magical, haunted evening each year when all the scary creatures come out to prowl through every neighborhood.
That's a terrible thing to say about your stepkids, Barbara. Looks like Ghost was the most popular costume this year.
But here's the scariest monster of all.
Adult responsibilities?
This little witch doesn't know it, but she's taking some frightening chances of being hurt. Maybe badly hurt.
That sounds way more threatening than I think she meant by it.
What about that mask? She can hardly see through those tiny holes for her eyes. You can see straight in front of you, but unless you happen to turn your head, you wouldn't see that car coming as you start to cross the street.
This situation seems heavily in the court of the parents. They're the ones who bought her an ill-fitted costume and a mask she can't see through. And speaking of which, where are the parents? Their child is being stalked by a disembodied voice. Maybe it's like, I don't know, like a Shepherd's Glen situation where they have to sacrifice one of their kids to keep the Silent Hill cult at bay?
Ow, that hurts. It's bad enough to take a tumble on hard pavement, but it would be even worse to sprawl out on the street in front of a car coming.
I get the feeling the little witch's parents wanted her out of the way and saw an opportunity.
Now let's imagine that we're in that car. Can you see her clearly?
No, I can't see anything because you filmed with a 70's potato.
Let's take another look at her costume. Whoops, down she goes again.
This narrator seems to be getting a little too much entertainment out of this child's suffering. She even says little witch in a questionable tone.
This little witch.
You stay safe at Halloween.
Ugh, I see this kid is done with the PSA too.
First, we need to turn back the clock and start this whole evening over again. One of the problems with this costume is that it's too long.
Why in all these videos do we see parents fixing the kid's costume the night of Halloween and not when they first get them? It just kind of seems like it would be time consuming and you're kind of eating up the whole trick-or-treating time.
Now, the broom. That's a clumsy thing to carry, and it's something that you're likely to trip over in the dark. It's usually easy to shorten brooms, or round off the sharp points of pirate swords and other costume parts that can trip you or scratch you.
Well, geez, why don't you just take all the fun things away from kids? God, it's like you can't even wail on your siblings with a toy weapon anymore without everybody getting uppity about it.
What about that color? Remember how hard it was to see the little witch because of her dark costume on a dark night? What about this color?
Now, instead of a witch, she's a grand high wizard. Maybe when you have a costume that involves a robe and a conical hat, maybe not do white. Maybe do any other color under the rainbow, just maybe not white.
Some special Halloween sacks are treated with reflective material when they're made. And it's a good idea to write your name, address, and phone number on the sack.
That way the kidnappers know where to send the ransom note.
Just in case there is an accident.
You can do this crazy thing like go with your child or send them in a group of friends. Seriously, how the hell did any Gen X kid make it out of the 70's and 80's without all of you missing a limb or an eye?
Now, how about the mask? Any problem with it?
Well, it looks like a generic witch mask you guys pasted oatmeal to and then painted over it.
We can improve the mask by cutting larger holes to look out of.
Oh, alright, see? Problem solved.
There. That's better. But there is an even safer way. You can simply not wear a mask.
Wow, 70's mom just threw that in the trash right in front of her kid. Didn't even break eye contact.
Oh, you think you need a mask to disguise yourself? Well, just watch what you can do. With a little help from your parents and some scraps of cloth or old clothes from around home.
You can be one of those creepy Emmett Kelly hobo clown statues way too many grandparents collected. Your child can go as a cross between James Lipton and Orson Welles. Wow, I've never seen the expression, "You said I could be Spider-Man this year" before. Yar, it's a sea of disappointed children in copyright-safe costumes.
Now our little witch has turned into a beautiful princess, and her new costume is much safer.
Finally, she's worth all the candy corn and circus peanuts she can eat.
If you go trick-or-treating while you're hungry, you'll be tempted to sample some of your treats while you're out. And that's definitely not a good idea.
And we wouldn't want you to have a single moment of happiness, Lindsay. You're a 70's child.
In many places, the police set the hours that you should trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treat only within those times.
Or what? She doesn't really elaborate, which I kind of feel is important in a video for kids. She makes it kind of sound like if they're out past curfew, the cops will pick them up and throw them in the drunk tank with a bunch of college kids dressed as the Scooby Gang.
Neighbors should be ready with treats for you. And drivers should be more careful to watch for you during those hours.
Yeah, because any other time of the year, it's perfectly okay to mow down kids in the neighborhood. I just think it's a good rule of thumb not to Tokyo drift through neighborhoods in general. Bye, honey. I'd go with you, but... Bye. Get out. I might move while you're gone.
Stay in your own neighborhood when you're trick-or-treating. Your neighbors are probably hoping to see you in costume on Halloween.
The houses on Pleasantry Street don't want Honeygrove Circle trash coming to their door, so best stay with your own kind, kid.
But there are a few people who will do things to hurt kids. They might put sharp or hard objects in candy and apples. Or they might put something on fruit or gum that could make you sick if you eat it.
All right, time out. I need to take an aside here because this pisses me off every single time I see it, every single year, because apparently we need to talk about this every single year. The razor blades and apple thing was 100% made up, and every case was eventually revealed to be a hoax. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say any parent that came forward saying they found drugs in their kids' Halloween candy were making that shit up for attention. Ain't no one ever going to give children drugs at Halloween. Nor is there this epidemic of strangers killing kids with poison candy. In fact, these myths might have actually helped in the murder of one child in the US in the 1970s. Ronald O'Brien poisoned pixie sticks with cyanide and gave them to his children and a couple other children in an attempt to frame their deaths as strangers poisoning kids' candy. He did this to collect on a life insurance policy he took out on his own children. Only one child ate the laced candy, which was his son, Timothy, and Timothy died. He was tried, convicted, and executed for this little shitheel move. There is nothing wrong with being cautious, but stop perpetuating this lie to children. You are scaring them over nothing. Now, in fairness, in 2019, there was one guy I found who was arrested for handing out razor blades with candy, not in the candy, mind you, just sitting in the same bowl, and he was arrested. No one was injured, and the dude claimed it was an accident, saying that a box of razors fell into his candy bowl, and I guess he just never noticed. Which, really, guy? You're not even fucking trying. Sorry, where are we at? Oh, yeah, well, what is this?
Fruit should be washed before you eat it.
Who the hell gives out fruit on Halloween? I mean, do we have cheapskates in the neighborhood that'll give out one grape per kid? You know, actually, now that I think about it, an apple is probably better than pennies, which I have gotten before, so step up, I guess. And oh my god, this actually reminded me. One year, one of our neighbors gave us rings from the movie The Phantom. Yeah, that movie. Keep in mind, this is like early, mid-2000s when we got those.
But let's get back to the fun part of Halloween with the princess and her friends.
What's going on with the music here?
What you guys eat for breakfast?
What?
Those toasties. What's a wiener when you take out its insides?
What?
A Halloweener.
Oh, I got one. What do ghosts spread on their bagels? Screen cheese. Yeah. I love how uncomfortable these poor kids are trying to tell this joke. Like, they just want candy, man. Jesus, kid, just take it and go. I don't need Stephen Wright coming at my door. All right, kids, you've been frightened into safety. Now grab your McDonald's McBoo buckets and get going, because as you know, every stranger out there is trying to drug and or poison you. Everyone. Including me. Especially me. So be afraid.
Oh please, even if you could afford drugs, which you can't, you never share them, let alone give them away. And second of all, circus peanuts and candy corn aren't poison. They're just gross.
Go away, Spoon!
Ow, that hurts.
I can't do this with you guys in here. You guys... You guys gotta be quiet for like 30 seconds. Just be quiet for 30 seconds. Please? No. What do you mean no?